Good morning. Somebody still got it playing in the background.
Oh, sorry.
It's Will. No,
There
it's
we go.
it's fine. Will,
Well, I
it's
got to put my chat in somewhere.
That's fair. That's fair. Good morning, happy Friday, and happy New Year, 2025.
We made it.
Woohoo!
Made it. It's great. It's great. What'd you guys do? Did you guys do anything fun for New Year's? No, me neither. What is that?
No.
I don't think I've ever been to a party. Anyway, let's get into it. Welcome to the Coffee Table Talks. Our guest today is Dustin Meadows. Wave, Dustin, to all the
That's
friendly
me.
people. We see you. Pat Patrick and Mig Jet, as always, is moderating in the background. If you have any questions as our conversation unfolds, feel free to put them in the chat via LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitch for the one viewer on Twitch. And we'll in a roundabout, fun, squirrely way, get to it. With me, as always, is Will McCullen, the program manager of the IT Center of Excellence at Pima Community College in Tucson, Arizona. Yay!
Awesome. Well done. It's great to have you back, Rachel.
Thanks.
Missed you on the last one.
For those who don't know, I am Rachel Arnold, the Human API for Secure Nation, and this is my show. Welcome. Part of our mission here is just to connect you folks together so that you all can be stronger in a bigger group. That's it. Because cybersecurity is hard and life is hard. And
Yeah.
making friends shouldn't be. So that's what this is. Welcome to the Coffee Table Talks.
Yeah. Really, it's us just wanting to have fun, too.
It is. It's my weekly therapy. It's kind of how that works. It's wonderful. And if you are a regular coffeeholic here at the Coffee Table Talks, yes, my living room is different. It's a little different. Will jumped on in the pre-show and went, "Wait, where are you?" And I was like, "It's still my living room. It's just the other wall. That's it. It's the other wall."
There's more than one wall?
I know, right? There's 4 of them. Hey, Rob, we see you too. Cybersecurity is what? Look, I gotta move.
Yes, it is. Cybersecurity is a team sport.
Yes.
Go team.
Absolutely. So, Dustin,
that's me.
Can you tell everybody a little bit about what it is that you do, where your skill set kind of lives, and I mean, it's just going to be obvious why you're awesome as you do that. But so what is it that you do?
So I am the embodiment of the CISSP. I mean, the jack of all trades, master of none. I break stuff.
Perfect.
Currently in my role, I'm a GRC. I'm an ISO over a program now. That we're more on the compliance side of everything. But prior to that, I was architect at the hospital. Went from a small team to a not as small team. Basically built out the security program that we had there. Before that, I was in defense. Before that, I was.
I like how you just offhand mentioned I built out the security program there. Like, it's just a Tuesday.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it was when I started there, I was like their first security specific hire to a new team. The guys that I joined were they're smart and they knew a good deal about security. The hospital not as much. And so from there we kind of taught everybody that security is not just our job, it's yours too. It's a team sport, and it really is. And so to go from a bunch of providers that knew a little bit about cybersecurity to having providers telling us about the latest episode of Malicious Life, which unfortunately just saw today is no longer going to happen. But I mean, it was cool to build it from something small to something huge. And I think that we did a pretty good job of that over the time that I was there.
That's awesome. So So if you're building out a cybersecurity program in a hospital, because it's different in every industry depending on the business's goals and needs and stuff like that. Where was it that you really focused most of your energy early on and assisting to build out that program?
Basically telling working with the providers to let them know, we're not the bad guys. We're not here to stop you from doing your job. I mean, if you look at like the the CIA triad, confidentiality, integrity, availability, it's not supposed to be ordered, but we all say it the same way. But when you're at the hospital, it's almost flipped because it was, availability was first. You have to be able to provide care to your patients. Integrity, we have to make sure that the data that they're using or the data that they're giving is that actual data. And then the confidentiality, yeah, it's very important, but not ahead of the other two. So as long as everything that we did, we focused on making sure that it did not disrupt the ability for the providers to provide that care and letting them know, look, we're trying to do this slow and smart rather than fast to get something done for compliance. And so that really was it, was just, getting the providers on board with us, finding our allies in the different areas that could become our spokespeople for security in those areas, and just, building it outward from there.
Got that. So not only making the information accessible, but also making you accessible as a human being.
Yeah,
and, and
absolutely.
connecting with those people and building those friendships. And
Yeah.
I love all of that because I preach all the time about the importance of networking from like, a LinkedIn new job seeker perspective, also important, but working on your networking skills, your people skills is so important throughout the lifetime of your career. And I think your experience and talking about, the things that you learned building out the program and where you focus most of your energy really harkens back to how important networking is, not just in your job seeking part of your career, but throughout the duration of your career, right?
Yeah.
To be able to speak to, relate, and build relationships internally once you are part of a team or an organization. So that's very cool. If
I mean, soft skills, by far, soft skills are probably the biggest thing that everybody has to learn.
Yeah.
And it's not something that you just learn once.
No, and I think it's something that you can never really master.
Yeah.
There's always a place for you to improve.
Yep.
Always.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what? After this, I might just start teaching classes on soft skills. I will never be out of a job.
Exactly.
Never. But then how do you market something like that? Like I can't talk out of one side of my mouth and say no one can ever master it and then be like, come learn from me, the master. Right? Like that's not.
Well, so you start with networking and then you work on your own soft skills.
Well, then you can also become a licensed therapist too.
Look, I did consider it at one point. And then my parents were like, don't do that. My dad was a meat cutter for for his whole career, like 45 years. And I remember being like 17, 18, looking at going into some sort of counseling role or psychology or psychiatrist type role. And he was like, you don't want to do that because I've got meat cutters that work for me that have masters in psychology. I was like, oh.
Beyond psychology.
To be fair, though, I mean, it was, the late 90s, early 2000s. So our focus as a whole society, a global society on mental health was not real big. So I don't know. Maybe it's changed since then. I've got some friends. Well, who knows? I might just go get one of those. I feel like sometimes I have one-on-one cadences. Dustin, right? I like to check in with the people I like. Sorry, I'm biased like that. But there have been more than once that it feels like the cadence is, instead of like a check-in on how everybody is, where they're at in their projects or whatever it is they're up to, it's a therapist couch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've had meetings where I'm the therapist and they're on the couch, which is fine.
I'm that's perfect. That's the way it should be.
And sometimes they do it for me too. It does happen. What, my dear? If you guys don't know, I have two dogs, Princess and Thor, and right now they've decided they need to go potty. So hopefully they can go get their dads for that. By the way, doing something. I'm sorry. I'm going to interrupt you, Will, real quick. I have to share this very quickly. This is Joshua's birthday weekend. So immediately after we're done today. We are packing up, heading to New Orleans and doing the nerdiest of nerds and going to a local Comic-Con in New Orleans called Fan Expo, where we get to meet the actor that did C-3PO. And if you guys
Wow.
know anything about Josh, you know that is a big deal.
That's awesome.
Big deal.
Fantastic.
I know. I'm so
That'd be
excited. Anyway,
fun.
go ahead. Go ahead, Will.
So, Dustin, with how well did you know the area, other folks in your field and stuff like that, and where are we with some of that? How many hospitals, organizations still need build out and
Oh, yeah,
need to come
yeah.
into play?
I mean, the problem, yeah, I mean, hospitals need it so bad. I really miss, the mission in healthcare because it's, it truly is a great mission. Um, and, hospitals traditionally don't pay as well as, bigger organizations that have more money. So they don't get the talent that they need. But I mean, hospitals, my hospital is the most secure, but the rest of them, they needed some help, Um, and so there's the HISAC, the Health Information Sharing. I don't remember what the AC part stood for. That was doing a good job of helping to share some of the information that other hospitals were seeing. But before that, I mean, we were sharing what we found with our local hospitals nearby, and they would share with us because we were all we had a lot of phishing attacks early on that you could see as they're getting closer to some of the hospitals that we were working with, it would start to hit us harder. And so you kind of learn who to talk to, like, hey, we're starting to see this come here. It's probably going to come down to you next. And, developing those relationships. But yeah, I mean, God, hospitals need it. They need so much help. They really do.
And that's hard because I mean, just read the news. We're now seeing a whole lot of attacks against the infrastructure all the way, and healthcare
Hmm.
is huge target and a major focus that is, trying to be hit by
Yeah.
all these folks that would like to see this country get disrupted in a big way. So,
Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah. And I mean, they're soft targets because, most of the hospitals didn't get to modernize as quickly as some of the like the greenfield networks that get with new organizations. Because I mean, like, heck, we back at the hospital I was at, it was it's been around 100 some odd years. The building that we were in was like one of the neighboring buildings to the original building. So when they laid network in there, they started token ring, and I mean they've probably abandoned more miles of copper in the ceilings there than we'll ever touch in our lifetime. So, the networks don't just, okay, we're going to tear everything down and start new. It's like they build and build and build and build and build. And so because of that, boatload of legacy stuff that you can't get rid of because it's, we bought that MRI machine, 20 years ago and it's running XP, but we can't touch it because we have to have it and we can't afford a new one. And so there's so much, they're so rich for exploitation because they can't update everything that they need to update. And so that, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of tech debt.
Yeah, well, and I mean, some of those bits of equipment are such an investment. Like,
Mhm.
just so expensive, right? That you can't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
And the software that's running it is not part of that equation.
Yeah.
Like, if the software is broke, put duct tape on it, keep that bad boy running because
Yep.
we
Well,
got to get.
and the other side of that is, when you get, so in theory, go with the MRI machine, when you get the MRI, you get a controller with it that is, the image that they built. And you may want to update it, like when the Eternal Blue, when that started coming out, what was the one that Marcus Hutchins stopped when it was rolling? Not Petya. When Not Petya came out, the patch was available, but because it came out on a Friday and started rolling on that Friday, we couldn't reach out to a lot of our support vendors to go, hey, have you tested this? Can we apply it because your device is network connected and this thing is happening right now? Can we go ahead and apply? A lot of those vendors we couldn't touch, we couldn't talk to, and they normally say, don't touch our devices. And we're like, well, we're going to do it anyway. And some of the vendors, they threw a fit because like, well, we can't support your hardware anymore because you patched it outside of our cycle. Like, well, no. And so, it's like fixing that, getting them out of that mindset of, well, we said it this way, don't touch it. Well, things change. You need to be able to change quickly with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an entire mindset. And
Mm-hmm.
right, that's kind of like HVAC vendors and pretty much anything OT, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part, folks.
It's like a lot of that stuff was designed in a time when they didn't realize that there was an internet. And they're like, well, we just did it the way that, Dave did it 25 years ago because he's gone now and we're just going to keep doing it that way.
Right.
Let's change with the times a little bit.
I've got some good friends in Indiana that came from IU Health, Nick Sturgeon and Mitch Parker. Mitch Parker is still currently the CISO over there. I believe Nick Sturgeon is now the CISO at Community Health Networks. Anyhow, I got to see them last fall, sit down and have a bite with them while I was in town visiting some family with my dad. And one of the reasons I became such a fangirl of Nick Sturgeon was in one of our early conversations. He was talking about how they were setting up a test, like a sandbox network that was an exact copy of the IU Health network to plug in all the different medical OT and test it.
Yeah.
I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I was like, it's such a simple concept, not simple to execute, but a simple concept just to throw stuff at those devices and see, and break it.
Yeah.
See how to break it, and then be able to take that information back, to your leadership and explain to them where the risks are and how you can mitigate it. And that's, I'm just like, Nick Sturgeon, good job. Right. And he couldn't have done it without the support of his leader, Mitch Parker. So it's just one of those things where there are these bright spots in the health industry where some amazing things are taking place. But just like Will's program at Pima is amazing. It's amazing. It's at a community college, though, in Tucson, Arizona. If you don't live in Tucson, Arizona, you can do some remote things. Will and I are actually talking about that in the pre-show too. But you can't take full advantage of the program because it's not a concept that's widespread across the industry like it should be.
Yep.
Right. The sandbox that Nick Sturgeon and with the help of Mitch created at IU Health should be standard, in my opinion. It is my opinion.
It's the correct opinion.
In every health organization across the globe, that they should be able to set up an environment to test exactly where the vulnerabilities within this equipment exists. Because it's not just good for the business, because it is good for the business. Think about how the health industry makes their money. They make their money off of doing the tests and billing the insurance companies here in the US, or I don't know how socialist healthcare works, but however that works, they still get paid, right? And those tests are also, big thing, beneficial to the patients that they're examining. So in continuing their life or perhaps, increasing their what do you call that whenever people are happy and healthy? Whatever that is.
But who knows?
Whatever that is.
What is that?
This equipment is essential.
Yeah.
It is essential. And it's running on software that is outdated, end of life. And the security people want to keep it going, but they have to be able to test it and check it for vulnerabilities and share that information amongst the rest of their community.
Well, and beyond that, not just the security people. I mean, like I remember, we had a couple of folks, at the hospital that, security was not their title. I mean, we had a provider that we would go to him first to test some of the hardware, just because he enjoyed playing with this stuff. We had a couple of the biotech guys that knew a bit about technology, but weren't classically trained security guys. That I would put them on something way quicker than I'd put any analyst on it, because they knew how to break it and they would enjoy trying.
Right. So that's fun.
Yeah, find your tribe inside your company and have them play with you.
Yeah. Ask any hacker that's not doing it for, criminal reasons. Ask the non-criminal good folk hackers why they like it. They'll tell you, because it's just fun to break stuff.
Well, that's the criminals too, because they're going to be in the same way, you know.
Yeah, but maybe not align yourself with criminal.
No.
That's
So-
not a recommendation that the Coffee Table Talks is endorsing at this time. Sorry.
Well, you've got all this GRC background and stuff. Do you see any movement towards some of these companies of having to, in their own element of compliance, being forced to have to help make their products stand up better toward compliance? Because updates are just, a little portion of compliance.
Yeah.
First of all, I love. Wait. Before you answer that, look at this.
Yeah.
One, I love this username. A good kick to the cabals. Heard the story about a pen test in a hospital. They accidentally enumerated a machine running a medical laser during surgery. I think that that's a problem. Anyway, sorry.
Before I answer that question, seeing that, when I first started at the hospital, I had the bright idea of, scanning my network. And, as anybody who's done this once and hasn't done it twice knows, you don't turn on the service fingerprinting. And I learned that a very hard way.
No.
Not long after I started, I get a message from one of the admins going, "Hey, are you scanning the network?" I go, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "Well, because Epic printing is down, and Epic was our EMR.
Yeah.
So basically, when you get that piece of paper when you're done with your visit, you weren't getting that piece of paper thanks to me during that window." Also, what I learned is Vocera, which is the tap-in or the badge tap or the tapping like walkie-talkie thing that the nurses wear.
Yeah.
The way that ours was initially configured, if you hit them just right, they'll fall over during a scan. But we had failover built in. They tried to fail over to each other about the same time. And so I ended up knocking down Vocera for the hospital for about 4 hours. So, yeah.
As soon as you said, so I did this thing where I scanned the network, I went, oh no, Dustin.
Yep. Well, then I also later, when we stood up Tenable, we did all that we could to test to make sure that we weren't breaking things, but you can't test everything. And so one of the things that I hit more than once until we figured it out was a fetal heart monitor, and that can be knocked down with with a SSL and exhaustion. Thankfully, it wasn't in use because I would have felt really bad. But you learn these things, and thankfully, the hospital was nice enough to not have me drawn and quartered for doing those kinds of things. Instead, I was able to work with them to fix it. But yeah, so hospitals are fun.
That was a weird day for Dustin.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm with a college, right? So for all the students that are listening or any others that are interested, right? Just going through something as simple as the Nmap scripting. They have listings of ones that are completely safe and some that start to get more in the dangerous category. Now, that being said, it's easy from a cyber standpoint to say, oh, nobody should have those open anymore. Right? Yeah. That's just standard Nmap. Of course, that's not going to harm anything. No, there's landmines all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
So if you go into pen testing like you're talking about, you got to tread lightly.
Yeah. Dip your toe in first before you jump in. I mean, you learn quick. Back to the GRC, and compliance, driving compliance, basically. So, I'm going to keep referring back to the hospital just because I can more freely speak about what I did there. I started up with a group that was the VAR, the value added reseller, that had basically clients everywhere, customers everywhere. So they had a huge percentage of the the customer base for a lot of the clients out there. And what they got tired of hearing was companies, when you go to Philips and say, hey, we need this thing of yours to do it this way, which is basic security. And Philips comes back and says, that's the first time everybody's asked us to do that. We'll have to see if we can figure it out, knowing that they're going to have another call with another customer later in the day where they're going to be saying the same damn thing. nobody was holding them accountable to that, saying, this isn't the first time you've heard it. This is a basic thing in security. You need to do this out of the box. This isn't something that needs to have, support hours to configure. And so we started working towards basically just building a very basic checklist that we would give the folks that, like like the Phillips and and all those guys, give them a checklist that says, are you doing this? So must be this tall to ride the ride kind of thing. We're not going to let you come into our environment unless we know you're this tall to begin with.
So I help run those kind of programs in some places.
Good.
And we call it the third party risk management.
Yes. And
they get an assessment and a questionnaire, and everybody goes, I hate these questionnaires. But this is why they're there. Mm-hmm. It's because if you screw up, it's accountability piece.
Yeah. I mean, if we could make it so that is, that's just something that the vendors provide as part of their initial package of, we'd like you to take a look at our product. Here's the questionnaire. And we've done this.
Here's the problem. Okay. So because I hang out a lot with the vendor side of the fence too, you have to understand that every industry's checks and balances are going to be a little different based on the needs of that industry. So the vendor normally will not have, they will have some basic ones put together that they can answer about their security stance, but they do often prefer that you provide them that questionnaire. And I know a lot of the groups that are happy and fast and quick to answer it and go over any concerns that the partner might have. So I help facilitate those parts of the relationship too.
Yep.
Yeah, but still, when some of those come through, it's like, don't drink Drano, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of, you go, oh, why is that in there? Well, somebody decided to chug it.
And from anybody from the vendor side of the fence that might be listening in, I'm going to tell you right now, if you stumble or otherwise give any pushback to answering those questionnaires, there are so many bad boyfriend vibes you give off doing that.
Yep.
That I'm like, we can't date you anymore.
Yep.
We can't. Yep. I don't even think we should be friends. Like,
yeah.
No, I don't want no scrubs. You have to answer my questionnaire. I need to know these things about you because look, shopping for vendor partners is dating. It's dating. I don't care if I sound stupid saying that, but it is. It's dating. I have to like you. We have to vibe. We have to have common future goals, right? We have to be able to talk openly about each other's personality and wants and needs and what you're interested in and everything else. And from a vendor standpoint, what you're interested in is like, what kind of charities do you get involved with? How are you impacting the cybersecurity community or communities around you? Right? That's your special interest group. As far as future goals, yeah, I would love to see your roadmap. And I'd also like to see how historically you've done achieving your goals.
Yeah.
Also, like, how quick are you to implement customer requests to changes or to be able to develop an API to plug into something else, right? Like, that's what I want to know. I also want to know, do you, what's your credit score like? Right? We're going to buy a house one day. I want to know what your credit score is like. And it's like
if I ask you
what's your security posture? How are you doing?
Yes, folks, free master class.
It's like if I ask you the question of, do you run your own bug bounty program or do you use one of the established ones? And your answer is, well, we don't run a bug bounty program.
Right. Wrong answer.
Right. Yeah. If your stance to, to people testing your stuff is, no, they're not supposed to touch it. Well,
I am really good at identifying an abusive relationship, and I can provide you with a spousal abuse shelter scenario You need it. Okay. I will help you exit that relationship peacefully and you'll get to keep the house and the kids. You know,
Yep.
like it's going to be okay because we don't put up with that in 2025. Some people, companies just want the relationship to check the box. Our insurance said
Yep.
we needed a pin test. So we did a pin test. Who cares if it was useful, if there was collateral damage? Brian, I feel you, friend. I feel you. I know.
Yep.
I've been there. I've been there too when they're like, oh, great. It's a pin test.
Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, rained all weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I feel like, and I hate it. I hate it. If you're a leader on here, I'm going to tell you your baby's ugly. If your company says, yes, do a pen test because we have a compliance thing, we gotta check a box.
Mm-hmm.
And you go get that pen test and then you do nothing with the information afterwards, or you say that you reported the findings. First of all, if you use the phrase with me that you reported the findings of your pen test outside of the cybersecurity department, you did it wrong. Because normal people don't talk like that. They don't say we reported the findings. No, you walk in and you go, this is where the hole is. We need to plug the hole or else it's going to shut the money off.
Yep.
That's what you need to say. You don't report findings. Okay.
Report findings is step one, not the end of your work.
Right? You tell them. You're like, this is how the money shuts down. From a cybersecurity perspective, and this is how we want to fix it. Don't go, can we get some money to fix it? No, have your stuff together. Have how much money it's going to cost. Have a couple different options of money tier level, right? Pretend that you have shopped for stuff before on Amazon, all right? Whenever you're like, I need a new bookshelf, you look at like 5 different bookshelves, don't you? And you're like, this one's priced right. You gauge it. Give the same options to your leadership outside of cybersecurity, your CFO, so they can make some informed decisions about what they're about to purchase and invest in.
Well, and as leaders also, cultivate an environment with your other leaders and with the other teams that we're going to take this seriously. We're going to put this at the, higher up in the pipeline of work we need to do. Not, yeah.
Go make friends outside of your department. Take them out for drinks, get some coffee, go grab lunch, bring them lunch to their office if they can never seem to leave it. And if you're a remote worker, fly, take a flight, right? If it's 8 hours or less, drive it. Go meet people, do the thing. Because it's a lot. It's a very different perspective. If I am in charge of HR, if I'm in charge of HR and a cybersecurity professional comes to me in an email, one, they sound sterile. They use too many acronyms that I do not understand. Right? I have no idea why any of this is impactful other than the cybersecurity person is standing up going, it's on fire. I'm like, okay. Right? I don't understand. But if you sit down with me across from a table, look me in my face, and I can judge your body language and I can ask questions in the moment about stuff, then I will understand more. Look, I know we love it. We love it being in cybersecurity and IT that we don't have to people more than an email. But you got to. You got to people more than an email or it's not going to get better. It's just not. I'm sorry. I am feisty today.
If you don't get a chance to know the person you're talking to, you don't know how to talk to them.
Oh, Rob says I've spent time with Scare Bear recently. Rob, me and Scare Bear are like this. Okay. Scare Bear is the alter ego for Ryan Cloutier. But no, I have preached that for a long time.
So can I take a quick moment to brag a little?
Go for it.
Yes.
At Pima Community College, we are about to start up. We've been working on relationships with the Department of Homeland Security with the state of Arizona to where students are being hired in our space at Pima Community College to be doing SOC work for the state of Arizona and different counties and things of that sort. Now, when you do that, probably a vast majority of the folks online at the moment go, oh my word, how are you doing that? Right? Because that's all very confidential information, all has to be worked out. So we're going through all those scopes, which immediately you come into play with different IT departments. Now they're being great, right? But this is where this comes into play in this conversation, is that IT very much tends to get this fortress mentality. You're not doing what you're supposed to. See the wagging finger? You're not doing what you're supposed to. Instead, if you can take the approach like Rachel's talking about, hey, I'm just here really trying to save your ass. So, what is it that you're actually trying to do so that we can make that better? If in the IT department, you're not really focused on what the organization is trying to do, and I think it was Rob who brought that up earlier on, it's not about fitting people to the machine. It's about building the machine to fit the people.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, how many people have you come across that work in cybersecurity that don't realize that they're a service?
Oh God, way too many.
You are not okay. If you need help understanding that you are a service that is afforded only by those in certain tax brackets, why don't you have cybersecurity in your home? It's not something that everyone can take advantage of. It's just not. Cybersecurity is a service. You are providing a service function. If you have never waited tables before in your life, start to think about it next time you go out to eat. You provide the same aesthetic as a server in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
You provide a menu of options. Your customer chooses and selects from that menu and orders what it is that they want. And as a server, a good server will come back and check that they still enjoy what they selected. And cybersecurity, your cybersecurity department, your vendors, all of those relationships should not only provide you a list of things that they are capable of doing or for you to eat, right? Or drink or whatever it is. Princess, chill out. Mommy's having a point right here. That she's freaking out, you guys. And then after that customer takes a few bites of your cybersecurity program, check back and make sure it still is tasty.
Yeah. Yep. Make sure they're not choking.
Follow up.
Yeah.
Rob's statement there was incredible. I love that, Rob.
If you don't make money, you are a service. You are a service. You don't make money. You make sure the company can make money.
Yep.
That's it.
One of the things that we tried to do, with our program, back at the hospital was, the idea that, you should only be secure at work was wrong. And that's how, leadership initially tried to keep us going, was just worry about teaching them things that apply here at the hospital. And that's it. And you got to, always be teaching. So, you teach them how to secure their home router, teach them how to use a password manager, even if we're not using one here,
Right.
Teach them how to do the right thing across the board. So they don't have to think, okay, I'm in work mode, so I need to think this way. But when I'm not, then I can think this way,
Right.
always, just keep them smart.
Yes.
Well, my word. I mean, come on. How many cloud services are out there?
There's at least two.
But if things have so much in the cloud, what does that mean is the target? The account that accesses it.
Yeah.
Now you're immediately at home.
Yep.
Now you're immediately with your phone.
Yep.
And they don't know the interaction there. Back when we first started with computing, we were on desktops and we were on laptops if we were lucky, and we could interact with every step of it. Well, now that layer of abstraction has been moved further out, when you're using phones and tablets as your dailies, you don't see what's going on behind the scenes. And so, trying to teach them how, this app is actually interacting with these other services that you're never seeing, and how there's, from those services, your data is being aggregated elsewhere. So when when you sign up for a new service, and by the way, belated happy birthday to everybody who was born on January 1st, because so many people just do January 1st as their birthday. They're not people aren't understanding that, your actual birth date when you sign up for some random service is being aggregated elsewhere and then being used to package up, ads to be sent to you. They don't know those things. And so teaching them that kind of stuff, it helps.
Yeah, I'm that annoying one that actually looks through the end user license agreements and privacy.
Oh, the whole thing?
I do. Okay.
Oh.
Wait. It's gotten easier though. I'm going to tell you why. Control A, Control C, Chat GPT, and then ask it questions.
I never thought of doing that. That's I have to give that a whirl. Thank you. I appreciate it.
when we first got access publicly to Chat GPT, that was the first things I started doing, because because I'm practiced at reading through them, I can go through the fluff, right? The standard crap. And I'm not a lawyer, but I can go through it pretty quickly and find out the places where it's a little different than the standard, right? And go, oh, I wonder why they changed that. And then, click on all the other stuff. It's great. Yeah, Rob, I read EULAs as well.
Except his are audiobooks.
Yeah. It's absolutely great for all of those things. You can ask all kinds of questions about end user license agreements, about privacy policies, all kinds of stuff. And find out where your stuff is going. In privacy statements, they will put a lot of link backs to a lot of other things that your information is going to go to. So
yeah,
to Dustin's point, happy belated January 1st, babies. For all you tricksy little people. And it's not that there's a lot of harm. It's not that there's a lot of harm from a lot of the platforms that ask you for your birthday. I actually am educated about how that kind of personal information is being used. But because I understand it, I'm actually consenting. I consent to having my advertisement algorithms changed up a little bit because of something like that platform actually knows when my birthday is.
Yeah.
Right. I do understand that my information is being used to tailor the experience I have on that platform, because the platform is farming me for my attention, because they want to sell more advertisements. Right. Do I give out that information to the Sketchbox privacy statements I go through? No. Like for instance, whenever my children's school, when I signed them up for school, asked me to provide their social security numbers, I said, why do you need that? And they said, we're not actually sure. And I went, great. I'm not going to provide that. Are there any repercussions? They said, no. I said, perfect. You will have their first and last name, and you will know when their birth date is, because I understand that is important.
Yeah.
So Power School. Power School is a software platform that many public schools, K through 12, utilize to organize internal communications, parental communications, student grades, student communications. Their HR stuff will be there. Payment information will be there. I have paid for things for my kids at their school through a Power School app. They also keep things like social security numbers. Power School disclosed, I think 2-3 days ago now, that they were made aware of a breach in their data from December the 27th or 28th, one of those, 27th or 28th. I am really glad that I informed enough that my children's social security numbers are not somewhere for sale, so that some criminal can scoop them up, complete a whole identity theft campaign, and ruin their credit at the age of 18. Also, my children's social security numbers are locked. in the Social Security Administration office, which you can go to their website and shut down your children. Basically, you just lock them, right? Like you would lock an account. You close down their Social Security account. So nobody else can be utilizing them, right? Because the sucky thing about kids' Social Security numbers being out there is they can be utilized to set up accounts and credit card accounts and all kinds of other things. And you're not monitoring it because why does your 8-year-old have a credit card, right? Like you
At the
don't
top
know.
of your list there.
No, it's not, because you're like, you're not even old enough, right? Well, a criminal can make it look like they're old enough.
Then
And
from the land of FERPA, right? You get into the realm of where, oh, I don't know, maybe some very large folks, organizations might be very interested in who has cyber skills, who has, math skills, who has whatever, to map that out for all their future careers. So they know who to target.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Stuff like that. Anyway.
Fun times.
We need some happy thoughts, guys. Oh man, I did it to myself again. I got all sad.
So Dustin, how do we crack this nut? How can we solve some of this?
Which one?
Oh, pick whatever picks your fancy.
Yeah.
Wait. I want you to view this like you did when you were starting to, really push the cybersecurity program at the hospital. Okay. Where are you going to spend most of your focus and attention first? What do you think is the priority?
The people. It's absolutely the people. It's raising the overall IQ of, the cyber IQ, of the people that aren't in the cyber with you. That's 100%. It's that education. It's education, and then it's also, putting your face in front of the program instead of saying, I'm with security and I'm here to help. Hey, I'm Dustin. It's putting that, that personal touch on it. So, it's like, if you have a question, ping me. It's that. It's don't, you have to open a ticket and then, I'll get to you when I can. No, it's just shoot me an email, shoot me an IM, shoot me a text, whatever. It's that I think is paramount, because if you can get, the organization to know you and know the program, then they're going to be more open to coming to you when they get this weird thing that they're just not quite sure if it's something that matters or not.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's 100%.
I knew you would. That's
when I first started there, at the time I was listening to a podcast called Information Security Daily. And one of the guys on there, Jaded Sec was his handle. And he was quite jaded, and he had this saying that that I just loved, and he would say, my job would just be so much easier if users just don't click shit. And it's like, that was simple enough. So when I first started there, I got stickers printed out. And some of the users that were repeat offenders of clicking things, rather than give them remedial training, I gave them the sticker.
Don't click shit.
And so here we are.
How fun! How fun is that? That's way more fun.
Yeah, here I am, like, 13 years later now, and I still have a stack of those stickers. Yeah. In fact, if anybody was at DEF CON this year at the sticker swap, chances are you saw one or two there, because I think I dropped 100 of them. It's making it personal, because it's not, I would prefer if you did not click on the links. That's not personal. That's, that's sterilized. It's, have fun. Yeah. And if you can make them laugh and have fun, they're going to remember you.
Yeah, and they're going to remember the message. Every time they get ready to click a link in their email, they're going to be like, Dustin told me not to click shit.
Exactly.
And they're going to stop and second guess it. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, wait, yeah, that turned out bad last time. Hold on.
Yep. I've transitioned away from the stickers, now to, the rubber ducks. But, even there, it's like, if they got the rubber duck and it's sitting on their desk and they're thinking about it, and they look at the duck, they can go, maybe I shouldn't. It's stuff like that. It's just if I can introduce a pause into a thing that you might do that might be bad, that's all I need.
Here's an idea that your HR department's going to hate.
Yeah.
So I had a friend, actually is a friend of a very close friend of Will's, Chris Bonhurst's wife, made me crocheted. It's adorable. It's a crocheted little bomb with the letter F on it.
Yes. Dropping F-bombs.
I'm just saying, if you got repeat offenders around your office,
Yep.
just walk in and throw F-bombs at them.
Well, we do, but yeah.
You're going to feel great after you ping a repeat offender in the head with a squishy F-bomb.
Now this is not as nice, but we also have a big box of clown noses.
Yeah.
Put it on.
Brett.
Like and subscribe for more ideas that'll get you fired.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, don't do it.
I need a box of clown noses now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know why, but I just do.
What is it? There's one of the pharmacies. CVS does like this red nose thing.
Yeah, the Red Nose campaign.
Yeah. Yeah, you should just buy a bunch then. They're like, what? They're like, I don't know. They're not much. They're like $1, I think, each or something.
I bet on Amazon you could probably get 1,000 for 20.
Let's find out. Let's find out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're just little foam.
Yeah.
Split foam balls.
Oh my gosh. I love that one of the options was clown noses near me.
They might be stalking you.
Okay. We can get ball foam. Do we want ball foam? That's what we want? Or ball?
I'm just going to leave that alone. Yes, you want foam clown noses.
Great. Ooh, we can get them from Temu, but don't put in your credit card information on Temu. I recommend using a third party or something.
Or someone else's.
Or someone else's.
So
why does it say 30, 50 piece red ball? I don't understand this. But anyway, it's only $8.
While she's looking up clown noses. Earlier we were talking about how to really motivate and curiosity being a big part of things.
Yes.
How do you engage that in your areas, and what do you think we could do to spur more of that on?
So I heard a while back about a program that another hospital was running where they would do their, security brown bags. But their security brown bags included basically an exploit of the month kind of thing of, here's how the bad guys are exploiting this thing that you've recently heard about in the news. Here's the commands to run. Sit down at that laptop, try it out, see how it works. And I think, doing stuff like that, there's going to be somebody in HR that's going to say, oh, you're teaching hacking. Well, yeah, but we're also showing them how it's done so that they know that it's not just some, script kiddie in a hoodie in the basement that's, doing it. It's actually not that hard. And if you can do it, and if I can teach you how to do it, imagine how many other people are doing this, for the bad, And so, I think showing them that, also, where I am now, they're starting up a book club for security. So of course when I heard about that, I jumped right on it. And some of the books that they're recommending, it's like that's fun. That's something that you can do that's not just a security thing, and it's showing people, how to think outside of that box, and it gets them curious because if you could get Joanne in HR to read Countdown to Zero Day, her mind's going to be blown because it's not a world that she's used to. If you get Bob in finance to read, in the beginning was the command line, and you can see how the world how the internet started from a DARPA project and got all the way to where it is today. To see how things come together, it's going to get them thinking a little differently about the everyday thing that they do, and they're going to start being a little more curious about it. And so I think that'd be the best way to foster it, is to just kind of show them and hope it sparks something for them.
I like it. Make it accessible. Be accessible, be approachable, be a human. Right? And then
God, yes.
And how are you feeding that curiosity for yourself?
Always learning. I mean, that's so I mean, one of the big things that everybody in cybersecurity is going to tell you is get a hobby and not be technical.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do. But my curiosity, I've got a wood shop here, and so I'm building stuff by hand there. That allows me to get off of the keyboard for a minute and actually do something tactile with my hands that I normally don't do. So that keeps my curiosity going, is playing with stuff like that. And I mean, showing others how to do some of that kind of stuff, it kind of gets their brain going too, and maybe they'll take it somewhere else.
I like it. I think this has been one of my favorite. I'm so glad we but how high did we just set the bar for the rest of everybody else? Dustin, you set it too high. Dang it.
Nah, seeing some of the others, this is easy.
The bar is so high for the rest of 2025. And we have fabulous guests that are booked out all the way right now, I think through the end of April.
Wow.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Good job, Meg. I'm impressed. And they're all just as fabulous as Dustin. Dustin, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us today. It's been a pleasure and a wonderful experience, sharing your perspectives and hearing those things. You and I get to hang out more often than this, but
yeah.
So I'm glad to share. I know you're going to be attending some conferences this year, so everybody go follow Dustin on LinkedIn. That QR code will lead you there, or you can type in his name. It's going to have a CISSP at the end. You can also click on the links in the LinkedIn posts and go directly to his profile and connect and let him know. Saw you on the coffee table. That way he knows you're not a creeper. We will be back again next week. Same bat time, same bat channels. Different Batman, though. We've got John Stump coming with us. He is the VP of IT at the Atlanta Seahawks. I have hung out with John a couple of times. He is an incredible human being. For everybody that's excited because it's a sports ball thing, I can't identify because I understand the rules of engagement for sports ball things, but I don't know. So if you're a fan of the Atlanta Seahawks, come hang out with John and me and Will. It'll be great fun. Thank you guys so much. I hope you all have a fabulous weekend, a wonderful new year. And we will see you next time.
All right. Thanks, Al.